Well, you either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become a very, very basic bitch tech YouTuber. I'll be doing a video on this eventually, but today, I'd like to call you back to a simpler time, a time when I uploaded like a normal human being. Some of you may remember my I'm not going to review the Razer Wolverine V2, but I'm actually going to review the Razer Wolverine V2 video, in which I said some very honest opinions, which I do still stand by, and if I'm not mistaken, it might have just barely been a year, but we're already sitting here with a Wolverine V2 Ultimate Edition, an Ultimate Edition that's $150, or $50 more than the last one, an Ultimate Edition that boasts 3 times more buttons, and carries over quite a few features from both last-gen Wolverine controllers. Ironically, it doesn't carry over the carrying case, the media module, or, and this is my favorite, the fucking name. Stop. With the naming schemes, stop, please. Why is there a Death Adder V2? You guys have had Death Adders forever. Why is there just a V2? Just make a new Death Adder. Why is it the V2 Chroma? It should be the V2 Ultimate, which it actually shares quite a few similarities to the previous generation Ultimate, which I will be comparing it to in its own video, don't worry. But if you want to see that, be sure to hit that big red button. I heard it fills your recommended with a bunch of tumors. It's great, it's amazing. Real quickly, I'd like to give Razer a quick shout out. They sent this to me. Alex, love you, man. I appreciate it because I now get to live out what is one of my biggest dreams ever, reviewing sponsored products from companies I absolutely love while being destructively honest and pissing off kids in the comments section with gay jokes. This is why I'm single, but let's get into it. Now, like everyone else reviewing Razer's controllers, I also plan on extending the watch time of this video by droning on and on about specs. But first, I'd like to deconstruct Razer's very tactile first approach with this controller, as it's spread pretty much everywhere. The ABXY buttons, the D-pad, the bumpers, and hell, even the bumpers on the front, just like the last gen Wolverines, they all sound like this. The D-pad and ABXY buttons utilize what Razer called their Mecha Tactile switches, which were used in the last-gen Wolverines as well as the original Wolverine V2. The biggest complaint of which was that the ABXY buttons on the Tournament Edition were too hard to press. This was done by a bunch of 8-year-olds, my bad, Xbox users, and this has been somewhat, I think, adjusted on this controller. These buttons do not feel as hard to press as the previous ones, but I could be wrong. And the most surprising fact about all of this is that the Mecha Tactile switches used in the ABXY buttons and the D-pad, they're rated for 3 million clicks, so they give you a tactile feel, potentially pretty decent reliability, and to top it all off, according to Razer, they're about as fast as cancel culture, which is surprising because I didn't think anything else moved at the speed of light. This info comes directly from Razer. According to them, these ABXY buttons are a pants-shitting 40% faster than your stock Xbox controller's ABXY buttons, and they also have a 35% reduction in actuation distance. So essentially, if all of this is true, they perfected ABXY buttons, at least the ABXY buttons from the Tournament Edition. I gotta say, I'm a fan. I'm also a big fan of the D-pad and bumpers, which sound like a gaming mouse had sex with a controller. The new D-pad utilizes both the Mecha Tactile switches and a new circular design which can't be removed or swapped out for anything else, but this is a very, very fair trade in my opinion, as I now believe it's more suitable not just for shooter games, but also for fighting games like people have always wanted them to be. But I wouldn't know. Super Smash Bros. Is all about smashing your bros. I don't do that. And Mortal Kombat, I think I detonated a controller on that game like 4 years ago. I haven't played much since. So yeah, my opinion, it's an upgrade, but I'll let you guys decide. I was too busy talking about this. I forgot about these. The bumpers don't utilize mechanical switches themselves, at least none that are listed on the website by Razer, and unfortunately, I have not gotten to deconstruct this controller because I can't figure out how to take it apart. They're using some type of mechanical, or at least very, very tactile switch underneath the bumpers, because these by far feel better than anything I've ever tried on any Xbox controller, PlayStation controller, anything really. These are by far the most tactile, and they're really small, so they're really comfortable. I gotta say, I have not seen such a landslide victory for anything on a controller in a while like this, but this is like next level. And speaking of next levels, I feel like a tactile upgrade was a great title for this level of the video. But as you all know, the attention span of the modern person here in 2021 is about as long as the average 20 years of his dick. So I need to move on, otherwise people are gonna start leaving and shit. Generally speaking with Razer products, watching the reviews and listening to the spec portion of the videos is not that boring unless you're watching the nerd from high school review the controller. How the fuck did he get to this before me? This is one of the very rare 6-button controllers on the market right now. You have your paddle boats like the Elite Series 2, which weigh as much as a small elephant and usually boast 4 paddles. Then you have your 2-button budget boys like the PowerA Spectra. But with the Chroma V2, you get the same crack fiend button layout as the Wolverine Ultimate. 2 on the front that are tactile and 4 on the bottom that are raised off of the bottom so that they're easier to press since they're in the center. The 2 on the front are mainly a Razer exclusive feature, but they're a bit intimidating at first, not gonna lie. Much like me in real life.
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
But they're actually pretty easy to use and ridiculously useful for games that are mechanically demanding. So if it all goes well, you shouldn't have too much of a problem annoying the ever-living shit out of the mouse and keyboard players that keep spamming you. When they say, aim assist this, aim assist that, tell them to piss off and suck your joystick, man, it's fine. This Wolverine sports very, very similar trigger stops to its original brother, the V2, and even the last gen Wolverines. These ones are slightly, ever so slightly shorter, far quieter, and they still, just like the previous generation Wolverines, adjust the dead zones when you adjust the trigger stops. So it gives you more of a hair trigger feel. You guys gotta take a listen to these bitches though. They're quieter than YouTubers who get caught banging kids. And I gotta say, it's absolutely amazing.
You what?
Not YouTubers banging kids, you know. This Wolverine did not come without its costs though, and I'm not talking about the price. The price was actually reduced from $160 last gen to $150 this generation, but it no longer supports the carrying case or the media module, and son of a bitch, I liked that thing. I suppose there is a function button of sorts, so you can press it, hold it, and press up or down on the D-pad in order to turn your volume up or down. I want a media module. I suppose it isn't a big issue. Not like the fact that they give you 2 extra thumbsticks and no carrying case to put them in. They give you a tall concave stick and a short dome stick. And they just give them to you in the box. There's not even a place to put them. That's literally what everyone uses their case for. Where am I gonna put my thumbsticks? My goddamn ears? Not to mention that the new sticks also like clank when they hit the outer edge of the thumbstick ring. Am I complaining a lot right now? All right. Positive note then. The thumbsticks feel pretty decent in terms of accuracy, although they're not that smooth, and I think that's down to a dead zone problem. While there is an overarching dead zone problem with a very large batch of controllers that I will be discussing here, I believe, I do not believe I have that problem. Although I do believe this controller does have some dead zone problems because it's not as smooth as it could be, but it's not as inaccurate as some other controllers. So I'm going to let it slide, although that could use some work. With the release of the base V2 last year came a redesigned body, which is a bit wider, but more ergonomically designed. While I can agree that it's a bit easier to hit the buttons on the bottom, I'm not a fan. It's not that I'm not a fan, I prefer the older design, but I can see why the newer design is something a lot of people like. That's just my shitty opinion though. One opinion I'm sure we all share is that RGB is nice when it's done well, which Razer's been doing well for a while. It's a bit flashy, no doubt, but when are Razer products not attention-grabbing whores with their flashy lights and their weird features? Take for instance the feature sensitivity training, clutch. Sensitivity clutch, I'm not doing sensitivity training, fuck you all. This is, again, identical to Focus and Agile from the last generation Wolverines, where you can map a predetermined sensitivity for your thumbsticks to one of the extra buttons on the controller, so you can hold that button down and temporarily change your sensitivity of your thumbsticks. This is a pretty neat feature I don't see many people using, but then again, 92% of Elite Series 2 users have no idea what the shift function is. So I guess we're all a little slow. That's what it is. Can I please get the drum roll? All right, shut up. All right, we're going on to reliability. This is the section I built this channel on. All right, so I want you guys to enjoy it. This is one of the questions I get almost immediately when new controllers come out. And I can take this question and split it down into 2 different groups of people. There's people who ask the question curious, and then there's people who already assume the answer to the question. Is this controller more reliable than the last one? And then there's the other group of people who already assume and are like, hey, Cuda, this controller's more reliable than the last controller, you should check it out. Bitch, Nobody knows. Nobody knows that. No one's going to know that for a minute. As I've been stating, and what I've been stating more recently in my more recent videos, controllers, no matter which controller it is, no matter what company it's from, if there's a new controller that's coming out with new features and a new design, the manufacturing process is going to be slightly different, even if you're using the exact same parts. And in this case, some of the things like the bumpers and the D-pad are significantly different, actually. So we will not know about reliability on this controller for a while, but there is one issue, and I don't know why this is a Razer fucking problem, but I swear to God, software problems are like Razer's forte. Like if you could name them top 5 in like 5 different categories, one of those things would be software bugs. There has been a very large thumbstick deadzone issue with a large batch of Wolverine V2 Chroma controllers. This was emphasized by the YouTuber Zadias. His channel is to be over here, to be linked above and everything. He, along with this gentleman in the comment section, brought this to my attention, and this was described by the gentleman in the comment section actually as an intrinsic deadzone, or in layman's terms, a deadzone that has been pre-programmed from the factory and cannot be altered. So even if you were to put your deadzone at 0, it would still be, 10, 15%, whatever the factory set it to before releasing it. Now, this is a bit of a problem because Razer said that they didn't program that in, which means this is a bug. And you can't have the world's most advanced pro controller or the world's fastest pro controller if your thumbsticks are as accurate as fucking stormtroopers. Luckily, both I and Zadias have gotten into contact with Razer. I actually got to talk to the guy who sent me out this controller and put this whole video together. They're currently investigating it. They're taking tickets and everything and all this other shit. So I'm hoping it gets resolved. That being said, I've had problems with Razer straight up abandoning problems in the past. So I suppose we'll just see. Before we wrap things up, I think it's only fair that you guys get to see me play with the V2 Chroma and some gameplay and getting my shit rocked. I'll be playing what I used to make YouTube videos on, a game I'm not that great at, and the result of all the COVID vaccinations. Enjoy.
I can't fucking compete!
a very, very weird video for me, mainly because the V2 Chroma came out of nowhere. So I had no time to prepare for this video, you know, I didn't get my month in advance that I usually like to get. But I gotta be honest, I can't really be disappointed with this controller, mainly because, as I've been complaining about all generation, ever since the Xbox Series X and PS5 were released, there have been no new controllers. The Xbox Series X controller is literally identical to the last gen Xbox controller. It even still takes batteries, which is pathetic in 2020, or in the 2020s, I should say. The PlayStation 5 controller has new haptic feedback that doesn't really make much of a difference from vibration, and its design is, in my opinion, by far the worst PlayStation controller design. All the new controllers that have come out from everybody else have been rehashes of older controllers. Turtle Beach came out with a Recon controller that is literally just a more expensive PowerA controller, and PowerA came out with new refreshes of the exact same controllers they've been releasing. So, you guys are making me do it. You're making me fucking compliment Scuff. Scuff is over here making it so you can adjust your mouse click triggers. You can have normal triggers or mouse click triggers. And they're changing their button designs. You have the most mechanical controller ever laid in anyone's hands. And you have a new Scuff controller, which might spell a new future for the company. And everywhere else, it's just dog shit. It's just dog shit. Not that they're all terrible controllers, it's just that they're not trying anything new or trying to go in a direction. It's just that they're sitting there. So to finally have something that I can say has been a bit more than just a refresh, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. You know, with all that being said, I'll be honest, I really still do think the original V2 was completely fucking useless. And that $150 being $30 cheaper than the Elite Series 2, $50 cheaper than my Hex Rival controller, and what, isn't it $10 cheaper than the last gen Wolverine? Yeah, I gotta say, this thing is definitely worth consideration. While I could have done more with it, I think they did enough. And that's just saying something, though. That's just saying, like, enough. Like, if we're being honest, I kind of fully expected tactile triggers, but you know, that's just me. Before I go, I'd love to give one last huge thank you to Razer, and specifically Alex, for making this possible. It's been insane. And this is one of those review products that I've gotten, and every YouTuber who's ever gonna see this video is going to understand when you get a review product and you actually enjoy it, like the one I have, both the ones I have behind me. You get it and then you really, really, really like it, and then you kind of get like sad because if you review it to the extent that you actually like it, people are going to call you a fucking sellout. Oh god. The internet's great. It's great. I'm sweating like a pig, so I'm going to dry off and start writing a script for... I haven't reviewed a monitor in so long, this is going to take forever. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please be sure to take a look-see at these other reviews over here. Be sure to take a look-see at this IG page for whatever reason, just in case, you know, if you're curious, you know. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it.